Hey, how's it going, folks? So I'm back here at the boat for the first time after my trip up to the North Channel, almost 1,000 miles, and I thought I'd do a little different video. So I run into a lot of people that they don't sail great distances, and they want to know what it's like. They want to start experiencing it, and there's one thing you are going to experience, and that is things are going to break, much like the ocean-going channels where they say it's fixing stuff in paradise. Well, the same thing applies to Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Superior, and you got to be prepared for it, and you can't let it ruin your day. You just got to fix it, go on. So here's a list of everything that went wrong on my 2-month voyage over 1,000 miles. I'm going to start at the bow, and I'm going to work my way back. And it's not going to be in broken order, so to speak. It's just going to be in an organized way that I can keep track and show you what broke. So let's head down below and go up to the bow. So Flying Tiger has a pressure water system. That means I have pressurized water to the faucets, both in the head and in the galley. So this pump just wouldn't turn on one day, and I decided to mess with the wires, and I thought it was a wiring issue, but it turned out it was a pump failure. And that happened early on, and the good news was it happened so early that I was able to jump on Amazon, and I ordered the exact same unit. It was about 5 years old, but I had a record of when I purchased it originally, and I could have my next crew bring it up to me, so I knew I was going to have a solution. Luckily, my brother brought a pump in a 5-gallon jug, or 2 5-gallon jugs actually. One was leaking because it got tossed on the boat and it punctured the hole, which was another issue. Kept getting the carpet wet, and that's one of my pet peeves is wet carpet. I can't stand it. But nevertheless, we had a way to wash dishes and brush our teeth and do our thing. Now, I could have used the foot pump because I have a 25-gallon tank in the forward V and an 18-gallon original tank that is run by foot pumps, and they're still hooked up. But when I was doing all my work this year, I unplugged it, and now they don't work. So that was bad. So when Anastasia arrived, I was able to effect that repair, and bingo bango, we got pressure water. So the next thing that happened in the forward berth is I have another pump. And it's this pump right here. And I'll show you where this one goes. But so I pull water out of the lake and I run it through 3 filters. And that's what fills my forward tank. And we use that for cooking and showering. And it was not filling the forward tank. Initially, I thought it was the filter. And that's the location of this pump. It's over on the port side, and it's what pressurizes the water, and then it goes behind this board here. You can see one of the 10-inch filters on one side, one on this side, and then there's one in the center. So here are the controls. I've got 2 solenoids for the forward tank to fill is number 1, and the 18-gallon tank under the settee is number 2, and 0 turns them both off. And then I can look at the sensor. Here's the forward fresh water, and the other one is the 18-gallon fresh water, and the pump switch is right here. And that's the switch my granddaughter kept turning on. I guess live and learn, that's a bad location for a switch, especially when you have a 3-year-old. When we got to Detour, I was able to go to the hardware store and buy some separate filters, and it filled the tank a couple of times, then it stopped working. This happened towards the end of the trip, but yeah, it totally stopped working. It wouldn't pump. And during the trip, it got left on a few times. It got hot, so I thought it was the pump. So what I did was, after I got back, I jumped on Amazon. I ordered another pump. This one was higher pressure. Instead of 40 psi, it went up to 80, so I thought that would be better for pushing through the filters. And I installed it, and it still didn't work. So I'm freaking out. I'm pulling out filters, finding out why the water isn't flowing. And it's like, something's weird here. You know, I checked for air leaks in the lines, couldn't find any. There was an issue with the toilet. not being able to pull water from the lake to flush the toilet. So I thought maybe that's where the air leak was coming. But I have one of those preventers on it to prevent sucking backwards. So I thought that was very unlikely. But I did purchase that. I had, and that's this. This is the piece that I replaced. I replaced the entire piece. It turns out choker valve. It had on one of the. It's got like 4 prongs. It was staying open. I could see light through it. So that's why it wasn't pulling from the lake. So as soon as I installed the new part, it was $100. Could have bought just a joker valve, but I didn't know if it was any other gaskets. I mean, there's a top gasket. If it goes bad, it will cause the same problem. So I bought the whole thing, $100. And I had replaced that about 4 or 5 years ago. So this is my second one. And it resolved that problem. But guess what? The pump still didn't work. And I'm like losing my mind. Did I install the pump backwards? No, I didn't. And this is what I finally did. This is the line from my through hull. And if you can see this piece right here, this is a anti-backflow siphon. And when I put my mouth on it, I can't blow either direction. So it's faulty. And that's what was causing all the problems. So I replaced the and the old pump is probably still good. I'm going to test it when I get home. And I tell you what, that's a difficult location to get to. So it was a pain in the butt to replace that. But that takes care of the bow. Walking to midships here, the next issue we had was water in the fuel. And I replaced the points with an electronic ignition. I recommend highly if you have an Atomic 4. This engine ran great all season, but we still got water in the bowl in the engine. And I have a short where I showed you the cup with the water in it. Maybe I'll put it here. But I was worried I was going to have to get a filter, and I do need to change that filter because it's probably due if there's water getting past it. And it's one of those screw-on type. It's not one of the type you have to, you can drain the water out of. But anyway, I emptied the bowl out, kept the residual in the sink in that cup till I got a place where I could dispose of it, and I solved that issue, and the engine ran fine after that. So that was the boy Flying Tiger we cook on this alcohol stove, and this is the next problem. Is I purchased this alcohol that says it's 99.9%. Was a lie. That stuff, it just burnt. It burned hot. But it was sooty, and it turned all my dishes. I'll show you here. If you can see the bottom there, there's black soot on it. On the coffee pot and around the edge, there's black soot. Well, it's even worse after cooking. So luckily, I had some of that, oh God, what is it called? It's super heavy duty grease removing soap. And I use that for cleaning the engine. I had quite a bit of it, so I could fill a spray bottle. And unfortunately, I had to do the dishes now because I had to carefully remove the soot because it gets all over everything. It was getting over on towels. It was getting on our dish rags. It was just nasty. And the solution was obviously run out and buy some clean alcohol for fuel. And I did buy 2 cans for the first part of the trip, but that quickly runs out. You know, I'm doing 2 months. So me and my daughter had to suffer through the soot, and it stunk really bad. So, you know, if she got nauseous, that would be a problem. So that's how I solved that problem, was using that degreaser that I had, which I'm so lucky I had it because I don't know what we would have done without it. The issue we had was a circuit breaker, and this breaker blew. So this one will not turn on. I was not able to fix that. And so what that means is when I hook up to shore power, or if I hook up the Jenny into shore power, my outlets would not be powered by 110. Only the bathroom outlet, which is controlled by the lower breaker. So I got around that because I have longer extension cords aboard. So I could power the bathroom outlet, but use the other extension cords to run forward to power, create power more forward in the boat, which I needed to do because on occasion when it was we didn't have a bright and sunny summer, so on those occasions I had to top off the battery banks because I have under the desk here my 24 volt bank, and that's 150 amp hour, and that runs the freezer, which sits under my my companionway stair back towards the hanging locker. In here, I have 300 amp hours of 12 volt, and that runs my Starlink and this inverter. And I forgot to show you under the cabinet here, I also have a I have a pure sine. Let me move the box. This is a pure sine wave 24 volt inverter, and I use that for the laptop. And then I power the refrigerator with the Victron. What is this? I use it to generate 12 volt power through the 24 volt bank. That freezer will run on 24 volts, but it's a cigarette lighter. So I know if I push 24 volts through that cigarette lighter, eventually somebody's going to plug something in that's 12 volt and smoke it. So I thought, okay, well, I better not do that, because we don't want any smoked equipment. The other issue we had was 3-year-old related. This is my control panel. It's in the galley, and it controls my Oz fridge for the refrigeration. When you have a 3-year-old aboard, well, they love to switch switches. So she played with those and combobbled it all up, and made the cooler go warm one day. So that's something to think about when you're adding stuff to your boat. If you have little ones aboard, they're going to toggle what's in reach. One of the other issues I had was is my lines here, and this was my fault. Is I rigged them incorrectly, but the result of that is those lines control. One controls the Traveler, controls the reefing on the mainsail. And what happened there is, I'll show you. See this connector here? I broke like 3 of those when I was reefed, and I didn't notice it until we were bringing it. It was obviously broke under tension, so when I was raising the reef sail or reefing it down the front, it must have snapped those lugs. And it was all because I ran the lines in. Okay, now we're in the cockpit. And I did a short on this one, but when we were hit Lake Michigan, you see those screws? Well, they were originally threaded screws, and I have davits that I hang the dinghy on. And it's really nice because once the dinghy's out of the water, I gain at least a knot of speed. But having threaded screws, or not threaded, but screws just digging into the wood there was not adequate. That whole side gave way with a pop. So I had to fix that. At the time I used, it was on Beaver. To go to the hardware store there and get the correct length bolts, and I just drilled them straight through and put on backing plates. And I did the same thing on the other side, although I couldn't get a backing plate on all 3 bolts. Actually, I could only get it on 1, but I put 5200 in there and made sure it's at least glued down as good as it can get after, you know, cleaning it up. And I got to use that stanky alcohol as my solvent, so I got some use out of that garbage. The next issue was my autopilot and the bracket. So we actually hit a rock coming out of Bay Fin, and on this chair sat my 1000 Honda Gen, and like idiots, my fault, I did not put bungees around it and secure it, and it fell down, landed on the autopilot, and if you look closely, these aluminum bits got snapped right off. So what I did is, because I can't be without autopilot, is I through drilled this to the other side, and I put on a bolt so I could have something. I'll repair this over the winter, but it's pretty solid now, and it got us home, which was nice, and we retained. This isn't our only autopilot issue. Is we kept having issues with the autopilot, and I'll show you. I'm in the port locker, and you can see that black wire down there. Well, that's the power to the autopilots, and look how it's just hanging there. And that's because every time you put something in and out of that locker, it would hit those wires and it would yank at them and it would pop the power out. That means both autopilots failed. Now I have two autopilots. I have the Raymarine autopilot that works with the actual display, and I also have the self-contained unit. I think it's called the ST2000, but that one there's something else wrong with. I don't think it works to this day. I had to calibrate it by doing circles in calm water, and it worked for a little bit longer, but now it won't even turn on. That's something I still have to figure out. But that's why I have two, because when one breaks, I can move to the next one. But I got to figure that one out. Sorry for the boat noise, but here we got Speed Demon going by. So yeah, that was an issue with the autopilot, and you know, doing that many miles without an autopilot would be a pain in the butt. Although I have done it before, back in the earlier days. Next issue deals with our car, the dinghy, and I'll show you what went wrong there. So we use this electric outboard. It's like a 2-horse trolling motor. It works pretty good. I do like it. But do you see these wires here? Well, these wires used to be directly connected. This contraption on top was my engineering, and that's because those wires fatigued, and even though the wires were connected, the connections on the inside were broken. So I had to take this up into the cockpit and do some major microsurgery, and let me tell you what, it was microsurgery. And when it got to the point of reassembly, there's a controller handle here. It clicks, and there's a micro spring in there. Actually, it's not micro, it's a pretty strong spring. And when I was assembling that, guess what happened? The spring went pa-ting and flew over. My daughter had some quick thinking, and she substituted a spring from a ballpoint pen. A clicky spring. It's not as strong. I don't feel the clicks as much, but at least they're still there. I can, you know, at least get it centered, and it's extremely important. So kudos, Anastasia. And that was the last major thing we had to do. That was up in the North Channel, and to have to row everywhere, that would have sucked terrible. So there you go. Those are the things that went wrong on our trip. And all I gotta say is, if you're gonna plan that kind of trip, you gotta make sure you have the tools and the know-how to do those repairs, because each one of them, especially the water system, if I had to pay a mechanic to do that, that would have cost me a fortune. That would have sucked all the money out of the trip and, you know, put everybody in a bad way. Although I'm gonna tell you right now, fixing that put me in a bad way, because you know how you got to do it. You got to unload the front of the boat to the back of the boat, start repairing, and then you realize I keep my tools under the rear settee. So I started repairing after I unloaded everything there, realizing I didn't pull out the correct stuff. And oh, what an idiot, because now I got to move everything back to the front, get my tool, move it all back to the back. Yeah, that's boat life. But on the next video, I'm going to tell you about the repairs I did this winter. I wanted to make videos on each one, but there weren't repairs, they were additions. And I'm going to tell you what went right, what worked, what didn't, what would I do different. Stay tuned and check out my next one.
Old-timey sails blow high, storms can't make us cry. Through gales we drag anchor wide, Great Lakes our endless tide. Exploring islands near and far, Rock Isle under a northern star, Beaver Isle where echoes wake, Leschenault shadowed in lustrous lake. Hoist the flag and let's brave the squall, salty tales will heed the call.